Right, so let us get back into our work, guys. Yeah, we were looking at the hiring external assessment method in order to prevent a bias of hiring bad candidate. In order to prevent hiring bad candidates, so we must use different kinds of assessment externally. Remember, we have the internally and externally, but this is chapter 9 where we are going to focus at the externally assessment method. Right, so here we are going to look at our first method, which will be the screening assessment. Here, the screening assessment, that is where they pull up the total number of people who applied in the organization into a short pool. Let's say we've got 2,000 number of people who applied in the organization candidate. So this method, it say we're going to maybe to take number of candidates here, maybe 500 people who applied for the job. That means they are making their population to be small and they are taking out those candidates who don't qualify for the job, right? That is the screening assessment method. And then method number 2, it will be evaluative assessment method. It will be evaluative assessment method. So here they say, now we've done to take those that we see very well that they do qualify, but we need to proceed and access them. That means here they proceed to reduce, maybe let's say in order for them to do the interview here, maybe let's say they are going to take 250 applicants. 250 people who applied for the job. That means here they do the same thing that they did a screening method, but here maybe they take the number of qualified that they see that they qualified exactly in the organization, and they are going to do the interview. 250 applicants, they are going to do all of them the interview. Maybe that it is the big organization. That means they are going to do they are going to interview this kind of applicant, 250, all of them. And then number 3, contingent assessment. That means here they've done to do the interview, right? Here contingent, it's saying now we are accessing the individual, right? Now we've done, maybe let's say we've done to access these people, and then we recruit them, and then maybe let's say we hire 30 out of 250, 30 those best applicant. That means contingent assessment, it will assess the individually candidate. It will access the individually candidate. That's where they are going to check the drug test. That is where they are going to check the medical test and the healthy test, right? So this is the contingent assessment. Let us erase. Okay. Let us move on the cognitive what assessment test. Cognitive, okay, let us erase here. Cognitive assessment center, cognitive number 4. cognitive test. Here they just give the questions that try to ask the candidate or that person who apply for the job. They try to ask in order for them to assess their reasoning logically, how much the candidate understand, and then they are accessing mathematically problem solving, and then they are accessing the mentally ability to solve problem in the organization, not just little problem, but the complex problem in the organization. They use the cognitive test, right? So they said this method, many candidates, they don't like it. So, and then they prefer to use the non-cognitive, number 5, non-cognitive test. And then it say here they are trying to check not inside the brain, how much do you reason, how much do you solve problem, but here non-cognitive, that is where they use your that is where you use your psychomotor test. That is where they are accessing you, how much the capability do you have in order to monitor and like take the hard things on the organization using your hand. Hard things in the firm using your hand. How much can you sort out things in the organization using your power, your hand? That is psychomotor. And another thing here, they try to access the stimulus, which is the auditory. How much can you hear? And then another one, which is the language speech. How much can you be able to deliver a powerful speech? And then here auditory, language, and what the visually capability, the visually stimulus. So this is what they are trying to check here on non-cognitive test. Right, this is our test number 5. And then let us look at the value test. The value test. You know, when you go to the organization, you always have the expectation, maybe benefit, bonus, income, how much do you want them to pay you, income or compensation. So here they are trying to access all these things. That means values on the job, value of yourself. What do you want on that particular job, right? And then personality, this number 6, personality, number 7, the personality. Here they try to access your types of characteristics in order to perform the job, which would be ocean. We use ocean in order to say you are Let's start with E, extraversion. Candidate, that means you are an outgoing person, person who like maybe to go outside the organization and do the things, or people who like to communicate with other people in the organization. That is why we call you extroversion personality. You have extroversion personality, and then open to experience. Open to experience. Open to experience. Sorry. Right. Okay. Open to experience, and then this is where you are being creative in order for you to solve problem in the organization. Maybe let's say they give you hard task on top of the other ones, and then you if you are open to experience, you can able to solve all those tasks within a certain period of time, because you like to be creative in doing your things. You like to experience new things in the organization. You like to try to find new skills in order to deal with the task that you are given. And then we come with the consciousness. Consciousness. Right. If you are conscious, that means in the organization you challenge yourself. You challenge yourself. They give you hard goals, and then if you are a conscious person, if they give you complex tasks, you challenge yourself, you set goals for yourself. When I'm going to finish that task, and then you know the task. If you are conscious, it will make you to focus in the work, and then it will make you not to be bored in the work or in the job. That is consciousness. You are too focused, and then you know your goal, you know what you want to achieve in your job, etc. and etc. This is aggression A, and then this would be neurotistic personality. Because of time, let us move on. Right. So here we said again, number 8, we've done with personality test, and then situational test. So situational test, it's in the organization, they just give you a certain situation, and they access you. They need to see how capable are you able to solve that task they are giving you. This is the situational. That means they are checking at the present performance of the present performance that you are doing currently in the organization. This is situational. They give you a certain situation or a challenge of a task or a certain task in order for you to solve it. Number 9, behavioral. Behavioral test. This is where they ask you about your past performance in order for them to predict the future performance that you have done, right? So this is where they are looking at the behavioral test. And then number 10, what is this? Graphology test. They said this one is invalid. That means this one does not exist in many organizations, because it only check your handwriting. So that is not the valid thing, the valid test that you can use in order to access the external assessment method, because we won't know either the handwriting does it lead to a certain performance, right? So they said this one is, but it is there on the hiring methods. It is there, but they said here graphology. like it is the non-existing assessment method. So let us go to the multiple test. Multiple test. Here they say multiple test. They check at your previous colleague. They just call them in order to access you. They check your previous supervisors externally. They check your what? Maybe they check the reference people who you have done to put in the application. That means they use the multiple test. That means they use many number of people in order to get more information about you in the organization. Right. Let us move on 11. And then number 12. Okay, social media check. Don't just post anything on social media. Some organization, they use the social media in order to access you in the organization. So if maybe let's say you are not a honest person, you like to maybe to post private stuff like naked pictures and etc. That means they will use your social media the social media assessment method in order to access you. This is where you are going to give them the password of your social media, all of your social media, so that they can access you in the company. And then they said number 13, it was let's say okay, we have done to check cognitive, we've done to check non-cognitive, graphology, behavioral, personality, integrate method. Okay, sorry. Integrate method, that is where they check you how honest you are in the organization. They just ask you 3 questions so that they can assess your honesty. Maybe let's say they are going to ask you, can you able to take chance in the organization? That is where they investigate more about of yourself being honest in the organization. The answer that you can put there, it is yes or no. That is the integrate method, honesty. Right. And then structured interview. Structured interview, number 14. Are those questions they just prepare in the workplace to ask you in the interview? And structures are those unprepared questions. And sometimes unstructured in the interview, it can be biased, because this is the unstructured interview. So it need the job expect someone who have more deep knowledge about the job. The job expects someone who have more deep about the job, so that he can ask you this long type of questions based on the job. Because if say we got someone who don't know the job, someone who's recruiting people to the organization, maybe let's say he don't have much information about that job that is trying to recruit, it can lead to the bias. And then we have the job knowledge test. Job knowledge test. Job knowledge test, it's say they are checking you in order for them to see how much knowledge do you have about that job you have applied for in the organization. Right, that is where they access only the knowledge that you have about that certain job you applied for. Right. And then case case interview. That is where they give you a certain task to solve it. Number 17. That is where they give you a certain task to solve it. Case. A certain task to solve it in the organization. Right. So let us move on. And then 18, multiple. Okay, no, sorry. This is the maximum fit. Maximum fit. Remember, we said we have the candidate, job fit, the organizational fit, and then number 3, job fit, organizational fit. What I forgot the third one, but that is where they access a candidate that do they have the matching personalities with the job or the matching personality with the organization. Here at the job fit, the only thing that they are looking for, it is the personality, value, and the belief of the employee. And then on the organization, does your belief, does your value, does your personality match with the organizational culture, organizational value, and then organizational what? Culture, value, and organizational vision. Does your personality they match with the culture of the organization, with the value, and then with the business strategy of the organization? Right. So we are done now, guys. You will just continue to study the other one part. I think I've clearly to mention all these things, and then simple external assessment method that you know what it is the CV, biography, maybe telephone screening. This is the actually thing that we all know, right? Telephone screening. Yeah, I think that is all that we need to know on this chapter, external assessment method. If you have any question, please drop down in the comment section on this channel or under this video, right? Please drop down the comment section and then I will attend your question, or if any comment you have, you can put it there and try to give us more information on what you know about the external assessment method. Thank you so much.